Hey, good evening. It's Geeks Assembled Audioheads, and we are talking about Psychic Circus, the Seventh Doctor alone in the TARDIS. Oh, and he's got a best friend, and a new best friend who's a robot, and there's some secret voices going on, and so that's why they call it the Circus, because people are hearing voices and seeing visions, and that's important. And there's the Lee is dealing with the god of Ragnarok who will demand to be amused. So that's only it only goes to show that this is highly accurate in so many ways. And with us we got Beef Dad and Alex and Lee and me. And so here we go. Let's talk about this thing. What's your opening thoughts, Beef Dad?
It's very long, but it's really it could have been a real one. It could have been a television one. It's just so good, and yeah, the seventh Doctor, brilliant. He's such a sweetheart, and yeah, the it was just the use of the Ragnarok gods got to me as well, and of course James Dreyfus playing the Master, and the Master is involved in it, and he's trying to take over the Psychic Circus, and yeah, it was just amazing. It was just so very clever, but oddly enough, the Master wasn't as evil as he is normally. But I think basically because the Master had been put in a position that was difficult for him, and he was more interested in his position than he was in anyone else's. You got a lovely performance by Ian Reddington playing the Chief Clown. He was very good. And then you had Kingpin, played by Chris Jury, and his girlfriend Juniper, played by Anna Leon Brophy. And they were a wonderful pair. They worked so well together. And then of course Sienna Jones, oh God, Sienna Jones playing Morgana was just brilliant, and she was the psychic, and she had a crystal ball, and it was just very, very good. It was very, very clever and fairly complex, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Nice. All right, bebopping from down south to up north. How about Lee? What do you and your God of Ragnarok think there?
Well, this is a prequel to the TV story, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, but it's set in the Seventh Doctor's future timeline. So, you know, things have already happened in the past for him, what haven't happened for the circus as yet. So, you know, that's the only downfall for this story, I think, is, you know, The Great Show in the Galaxy is the follow-on. So really, this one doesn't. There's no, you know, everybody survives this, goes on to the circus, but that it don't take away from this. I mean, as Beef said, you know, Ian Reddington is the chief clown. I mean, he was absolutely brilliant in the TV serial, and to hear him playing that character again, it's just chilling. I mean, you know, I mean, he didn't need the makeup, but you could visualize the chief clown there with his laugh, and saying you've got you say you've got Kingpin as well, Chris Jury back as well from the TV. Yeah, I enjoyed it. There was a few gripes here there for me, but I'll get onto that when we go into the favourite things and things I didn't like. But yeah, it's a good story. It's well written by the same person who wrote Greatest Show in the Galaxy, of course, same author. So yeah, it was an enjoyable four-parter. So we don't often do a Doctor Who audio on here, but it's always nice when we do them.
Right. Well, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's me for starters. Then I'll carry on.
All right, cool. And Alex, what do you think of Psychic Circus?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the story was better with Ace, and I think it was better with the captain and the werewolf girl, but you definitely needed Ace.
But that's a different story. Alex.
Yeah, well, but still. And then the other thing is, it's more of a circus is more of a visual medium, isn't it? I mean, so it's a nice idea, and it's not a bad script, but at the same point,
it's called using your imagination, Alex.
I know, but it's just not the same. And then bringing the master back again. Come on, guys. At least with the Greatest Show in the Galaxy, you had Ragnarok. You had something different. So yeah, unfortunately, it is a very good effort. It's not as good as the one on TV, and I understand there's budget limitations and all that, but
yeah,
it
but
was a bad script. The dialogue wasn't bad, but just the rest of it's kind of.
We're talking about the audio drama.
I know, but I'm just saying, if it's a prequel, it doesn't match up. It doesn't match up. It's almost matching up. But if they had left the master out, I would have liked it a lot more. It's like, oh, why do we got to bring him back again? So yeah, it's a little. I don't know. It's not bad, but I just wish they had been a little bit more bold with it, and you don't have to use the master with every single story. Good grief! And the TV is worse than that. Yeah. So, yeah.
How many master audios have we had?
Oh, who knows?
Not many. Not many.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I said also compared to the TV is what I said.
We're not comparing it to the TV. Anyways.
Well, you're yelling at me for, Lee.
All right. This is good. This is good. This is why we do these things, for a difference of opinion. And I definitely disagree with Alex, because I think that this was great. It, like the Doctor learning to juggle was adorable. I mean, he went from juggling like 15 to juggling 23 balls at the same time, which is, I mean, you got to think of that. Yeah, it's just like, and James Dreyfus was great, and Ian Reddington is like the reprising his role, or pre-prising his role as the chief clown. That was great. And then the little bus. And the other thing that I really love about this is that they all started out as such hippies. That was like, for me, that was absolutely beautiful, wonderful, peaceful, great. They had their ideas, their ideals, and they were going for it. And but the fact that the master was being used by the gods of Ragnarok, that they were actually the masters of the master, like, for him to keep ending up under people's thumb, that he thinks he's dominating, it's just, I mean, that is kind of like amazing. And the other thing but the thing that I guess I will agree in some respects, that there was no jeopardy. I mean, you knew that the Seventh Doctor was going to, make it, and you knew that all the characters except for Juniper were going to make it, because we never heard about Juniper in the Greatest Show, but you knew that they were going to make it, and I guess it can be an intellectual activity too, or just another part of the story. But you kind of want Jeopardy. But the romance between Juniper and the other guy were just that was undeveloped too. I need more romance. I mean, I always need deeper relationships. I'm all about relationships. I'm a very relationship kind of focused person, and especially when I listen to stories, I'm always looking for people's like who they're intimate with, who they befriend, who becomes their great ally, or and it's always on the positive. I am always looking for allies and friends and family. So that's me. And that's my bit. Favorite moments. Let's go the same way. Let's go to Beef Dad first. Please, favorite moment, sir.
Right at the very beginning, when the robot invades the TARDIS and turns out to be junk mail, that was just so, that made me laugh. It made me laugh so much. The bit with the juggling was absolutely great. But what you forgot to mention is that he also mentioned one of his other talents was with playing music with spoons, which he's very good at. I really enjoyed that. The bus problem where Juniper gets killed by the bus driver because he says she hasn't got a ticket, and that was a bit extreme. And I quite enjoyed the parts that the Master was in, because he just wasn't able to run things. Everything was worked against him, it seemed, all the way through, particularly by the Ragnaroks. And yeah, it was great fun, that. And any time Ian Reddington came into it, he really took it onto himself, and he's just so very, very good. And it was really good to have him. And the other magical bit was where he was with the Master. He threw the ball up in the air, and it never came down. And that absolutely had me rolling. That was just so funny. And there you go.
All right, Lee, go for it. Favorite
Right.
moment.
Well, I'll start with a few gripes first, and then I'll go to favourite moments.
That's good. That's fine.
The story begins with, as I say, with the junk mail appearing in the TARDIS again, like it did in The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And then the Doctor doesn't remember the Psychic Circus. Come on, he must. I mean, he had a big adventure with the Psychic Circus with Ace back on the TV, and he doesn't remember that happening. I'm sorry, but
Maybe that's why Alex was like, you needed Ace to remind him or something.
No, well, no, I don't know. That's sort of great with me. And also as well, I wished that they'd have not announced the Master was in it. I wish it would have been a sort of a cliffhanger, because you've got him on the cover. You've got him on the cover. You've got him in the thing. It would have been better if they'd have hid him away, and all of a sudden the reveal was, "You can call me the Master." Then that would have been a bit, oh, I didn't see that coming, because they disguised his voice, didn't they? Like they usually do. They're the only few gripes I had. I thought, yeah, they should have really hidden him away, and then bang, the big reveal that the Master was in it as well.
That's
Yeah,
the way the master should always be revealed.
yeah.
In a mid-story arc. Yeah, I guess I agree.
I mean, James Dreyfus playing this Master. I mean, we kind of think he's the first Master. We don't not sure, but we think he is. He is. I mean, he's only been. I've only heard him in two. I've heard him in the first Doctor Adventure about a year or so ago, and this one. He's brilliant. I mean, he's really channeling Delgado. He really is. But it's a shame. I've heard rumours that he's not going to be in many now after what's gone on, on the media with him.
What happened?
He's sort of spoken out about transgender things, and people aren't too happy about that.
Oh.
It's only certain people's opinions. People are entitled to opinions, but people have called for Big Finish to get rid of him, and I don't know if they have or not. So I'm not too certain, but I hope they haven't, because he's brilliantly playing the Master. Yeah, and say for me, this story was made with Ian Reddington as the Chief Clown and James Dreyfus as the Master. Brilliantly, two evil characters portrayed, and we also take a trip back to Paradise Towers.
Oh yeah.
And that is so good
Like,
to find out that the Chief Clown came from Paradise Towers. So yeah, it's I enjoyed it. It was good to revisit certain characters. What's the character's name? Morgana. The fortune teller, and admittedly, it's a different actress playing this character, but the same character, and the bus conductor as well. That was a good. Tickets, please. Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. As I say, just a couple of minor gripes, but Sylvester does work well. He does work well on his own. He doesn't always have to be with this. Any of the Doctors have always been on their own at some point, or with another companion. So it doesn't always have to be with the same companion. So yeah, it was enjoyable to sit down and listen to this. Over to you, Susan.
okay, and Alex, your favorite moments or
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the cast isn't bad. It's a nice idea. Probably might have been better, especially audio-wise, to do more with the Paradise Towers. But yeah, I mean, again, it was good that they sort of did callbacks to the funny, the ball goes up in the air, doesn't come back down, the robot, the clown, the kites, things like that. Of course, the other thing, too, is it's hard to do that scene that unfortunately was on TV, but it was a good scene and a good scary about, when the android clowns come to attack. I can't remember who the victim was. But that's what I mean. I mean, circuses are more of a visual medium, whereas Paradise Towers, you could do more of audio, and it would flow better. It would make more sense.
Rubbish.
Well, whichever. But I mean, I'm entitled to my opinion too, just like you, even if you disagree. So yeah, so it's a nice effort. I'd like to see a TV version or a TV, going back to the circus. But I think for the audio, they probably should have done the Paradise Towers more. But again, they do a wonderful job usually. They do, work with British properties that I like. They do work with British properties that you don't have to worry about having $1 million like you do on TV. So, I mean, nobody's going to like them all anyway.
All right, my favorite moment was when he's talking about his comedy bit, like the thing with the ferret and the trousers and the card game and stuff, and like getting on the stool. That's what he used to do on the streets of Scotland back in his youth. That's how with the
Ken Campbell Roadshow.
The Ken Campbell Roadshow and the yeah. So I mean, there was that, and there was I mean, he was part of that comedy show or that comedy explosion on the streets of Scotland. What is it called? Like Aberdeen or something? I can't remember what the name of that comedy thing is. Anyway,
It's the Edinburgh Festival.
the Edinburgh Festival. Quite right. That's right. Thanks. So yeah, there was that, and that's what he used to do there, and also with the Ken Campbell Bird Show. That's true. Wow. So very fun, and let's see. Let's just open the floor. Anybody have anything else to say about this?
No,
All
as I
right.
say, it was it's quite a long one. It is quite a long one. But the thing is, for me, there really wasn't a section of it that bored me horribly. It was all very cleverly done. Lots of humor in it. Lots of humor, but then that's something you always expect with the Seventh Doctor. You'll always get humor. And yeah, he's yeah, bless him. He quite enjoys a drink.
Don't we all?
So
I had lots of fun with him at time, Lash.
very good.
Yeah,
very good.
we had a few drinks together. He's
Was
a
it-
giggle.
Did it become time lashed?
Well, no, not entirely. But then the next morning we
Woke up in a
all-
school.
Coffee?
we all hobbled up to the railway station together, and so yeah, he's good. He's good stuff. He's a good bloke.
Agreed. 100%.
He's so good in this. As I say, with the story, telling the story. Later on, then yes, he does remember stuff about it later on.
There was no explanation why you didn't remember.
No,
No, that's yeah.
then he sort of something clicks in his head.
All of us have
He
been there.
remembers some things about it.
All of us have been there. All of us know that you're like in a restaurant or at a certain theater and you're like, what have I seen here? What have I done here? I recognize this place. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. And then the whole story comes back to you. You know how that goes.
It was particularly when the towers were mentioned.
Mm.
That did click on him.
When he was
Yeah.
reminding
I was a bit surprised because I thought with them being in the towers, I wonder if one of the groups are going to come up and help or make things difficult, but nothing happened like that.
There was no cleaners.
No cleaners, no
Okay.
aggro. So that was very good. When do you
But
want
there was a
the
bunch of hippies.
Scoring?
Just a moment.
All right.
The other thing was that there was all this sort of the voice of the. I like how it started off with hippies and then moved to sort of more supernatural, more psychics and stuff like that. That I like that the way that the circus itself morphed from something ideological and sort of like kind of rebellious to something that was more focused on receiving information like psychic supernatural stuff, and then moved into control by these other forces.
Oh, also as well, there was a little twist on the happiness patrol in this story as well, because the first planet we went to, it was illegal to enjoy yourself. It was,
Yeah.
so they twisted that around, in happiness patrol, everybody has to be happy, but this one, you can't enjoy yourself. That's entertainment. Arrest them.
Yep.
So a little twist there as well.
So that's yeah. So they were the rebels in that planet. That's right. That is kind of the flip flop of Happiness Patrol.
Yeah.
So we've had sort of gentle nods to pretty much a lot of the stuff in the 24th, 25th, no, 26th, 24th or 25th season of Doctor Who. Anyway, I'm glad we did this, and so let's rate it and see what happens. Let's flip the order. Let's go to Alex first. What's your final say?
Like I said, I mean, I understand, unpopular opinion here. I would have said for them to do the, but then again, it may or may not be wrong. I would have preferred if Paradise Towers had been done, because I think the circus is more of a visual.
Yeah.
It is a great cast. The dialogue isn't bad, but just somehow, I'm trying to follow the script and it's like, this doesn't make sense. And then you put in the master, it's just repeat. And it's like, And I want, the last season of the McCoy Doctor Who had a lot of great concepts and scripts that were bold, especially after the previous 2 years. It's a shame that they couldn't have really worked on it, but back then they were axing Doctor Who. But I mean, it is a really good concept. It is a really good idea. But yeah, it probably needed a slightly better treatment. It's a shame. Well, I have to give it at least a 7 because of the cast, and I didn't hate the dialogue, but the script, I was like, where is this going? Why is the master back? I don't get this.
All right, that's cool. And then we'll go over to Lee and Hull. What do you think of this, Mr. Yorkshireman?
I enjoyed it. It's 120 minutes long, but I didn't get bored of it. As Beef, I didn't get bored of it. There was things happening here, there, and everywhere to keep me entertained. Just because of the couple of minor gripes, the master reveal should have been a lot better, and a bit of the writing for me, the memory loss for some reason, not explained. It's getting a 9.
All right, that's all right. That's pretty great score. And so, how about you, Jeffrey? What do you think, Beef Dad?
Well, I really enjoyed the master being in it, because he was being mastered by the.
Are you looking for your god of Ragnarok?
By the Ragnaroks, he was being mastered by them, and Sylvester was just so good in this. Bless him. I must confess, there was one moment when I felt a bit disappointed that we didn't get one of the groups from which I think would have worked really well if the master had taken over one of the groups in the tower and was using them, but they didn't do that, and that disappointed me a little, because I thought once they got to the towers that the master would have had something in his hands there, and they missed out on that. For me, it will get a 9.
All right, that's good. And let's see. I will give this 9.5 floating balls, because it enjoyable. Or 9.5 ferrets in the trousers, or decks of cards, or whatever. Anyway, yeah, it was great. I do like all the throwbacks, all the Easter eggs, the winks, the nods, the elbows in the chest, in the ribs, wink wink, nudge nudge. That was great, and I love hippies. I absolutely love hippies, and so can't get anything lower than a 9 for me, but it gets a 9.5 because of the the story arc. I liked how it started, went supernatural, and then then the business. And it's always dangerous when it becomes a business adventure, and that's another story for another time also. And I'd like to thank you guys for joining me here at the Psychic Circus. I will present you with tickets. Oh, the other thing was, one more little thing before I close off, is I love the bus. I love that it started off as like sort of a merry prankster bus, sort of a traveling experiential show, something like the Grateful Dead going through Europe. The fun bus who all wore masks, and then the unfun bus who were behind them. But that was it was, yeah, gosh, so fun. Anyway, enjoy it. And so thanks for watching Psychic Circus and our podcast about it. Thank you for listening to Big Finish. Thank you, Big Finish, for doing these. Thank you for joining us. Please like and subscribe. Hit the little bell. The little bell has a time travel function, so please just hit the bell. Please hit subscribe, because that also sets in motion certain things which are fixed events in the time stream, and also leave comments below, because we love to hear from you. And since I will post this in my 7th Doctor fan group, and on my 7th Doctor fan page, I would just like to thank Sylvester McCoy for being awesome. And I will post his little shout out to all of y'all from Long Island Who. I'm sure that he will that he will make you really happy. So thanks for watching. Bye bye.